Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. How are you guys? It is that time of year, team reveal time. I'm still not quite sure if I'm happy with it, but what a crazy game we had tonight. I was pretty pressed for time. I had as you can see, a couple of videos. I wanted to do one with Langers, wanted to have all the relevant positions talked about, and then I really needed to see those final teams to come through to make a final decision on my side. But yeah, what a weird game tonight was. It didn't reach great heights. It was so intriguing with how tight it was and such a contest. And then the finish was bizarre. But draws just leave you feeling all sorts of strange. From a Supercoach perspective, Taranto Doherty did me nicely. Bit disappointed with Cowan. He looked good, didn't he? Not sure on the extent of the injury, but the young fella subbed off with some hamstring concerns. And Jacob Hopper, oh boy. Look, I haven't checked his score. I presume it was maybe slightly underwhelming, but gee, tried his ass off. But that was just a return to how frustrating Supercoach is. The amount of times he got his hand on the ball, or was the first hand after the ruckman, and had it within his possession, but didn't gain a possession, was doing my head in. And then to get in the clear, a couple of times just barely got his boot to ball in a correct manner. It just rolled off the boot like an absolute sack, and I was just like... And then when he finally got free and nearly got holding the ball, I lost my shit. I absolutely screamed. But so that was a nice reminder to just how fun Supercoach can be to your mental state. But it is what it is. We've got a whole year of that, me doing my absolute nut. But no, he looked good. I mean, in terms of position, it's a great role. He'll score plenty of points, but God, he looked overwhelmed. He looked like he was off the tempo. He looked like a bloke who'd barely ever played in front of a big crowd. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, let's just get a little look at Shorty's favourites there. Oh, I'll just zoom in a little bit more. So normally I would like to do a player-by-player. I've seen a lot of people reveal their teams like that. It's a little bit more exciting, but doing it after the first game, I can't do that. So let me talk through the team. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I've been back and forth. There is one player who's in 1% of sides. If you're a regular watcher, I have mentioned him a couple of times. He's made the cut. Now, what really threw me was Elliot Yeo, because until Yeo went down, and thank God he did. If he went down in a week, I would have been spewing. But mainly it was F5 that I wasn't quite sure about. And then when Elliot Yeo went down, I had to really reshuffle. I was like, do you drop Steele back down to Warple, or can you trust Jones? Like, do I go 3 primos? Can I go back to Dacos? Or, do I go Will Day and Hunter Clark and just run it real low through the mid-price range? I don't know, but here we are. So Stewart and Doherty, they were in my team for a long time, most of the preseason, particularly Stewart. Really happy with it. Felt a lot more comfortable with Doherty as opposed to Dacos, and I think that was certainly on show tonight. Liam Jones, I was a late comer too. I wasn't super enthused about the selection, but the fact is, of all the options after Yeo went down, he seemed to be the best one that could make me some cash. Great job security, and he will have the occasional good score. I still don't see him averaging much over 75, but maybe he can just run hot early in the year and be a real genuine interceptor and just give us 85 each week. That would be fantastic. He won't need much to get up to sort of 370, 380k. So he's won his spot. I do feel like I'm running a little thin on the back line, and there's a few rookies, like you'll see Euland down here. I'll probably swap him and Chesser and play Wilmot or something like that. Jimby was always in there. Constable, Cowan, Chesser, always going to be in there. I'm still umming and ahhing a little bit, and didn't it work out nicely with $400 left? Oh, it just worked out perfectly. But Josh Goda, I really like the look of. I think he's a talent. Versus Connor McKenna, who I think more established. Still don't know if I don't know on their job security. It's a bit tough. McKenna's probably got the runs on the board. I think Goda's going to be a better player long term. Could get more opportunities at North. For now, I have Goda. But that is subject to change after I probably do a fair bit of Googling and researching over the next hour. But yeah, that is subject to change. So we're running pretty light on in the back line, but really pump it up in the midfield and the forward line in particular. So just looking at that midfield, you will see Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, who I'll talk about in a moment. Absolute pod, baby. Oliver been in my team all pre-season. Bontempelli became irresistible. I upgraded Brayshaw to Bontempelli a couple of weeks ago. Jack Steele, I did like he wasn't super impressive in a practice game, but it's a practice game. Everything else looked the same. Centre bounce attendance, he was tackling hard. It's a practice game. I'm not getting too caught up in it, but he was someone I thought about, well, if I need to generate some cash, do I just have... It sort of came down to, well, they're both 603k. Do I have Dawson or do I have Steele? In the end, I've gone for Steele. I just think he still has that capability to go close to 120, and I'm backing him in, poor practice game or not. Tom Green, everyone's got to have him surely. Looks $1 million. Great preseason, great practice matches. It's his time. And Hopper, I mentioned him before. Frustrating game today, but I think the role's good. He's underpriced. He'll be right. Now, Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira. Now, I looked at my backline and I thought, gee, I'm a bit thin there. And when it all was said and done, if Wanganeen-Malira was dual position at that price, I think he'd be in 35% of teams at least. I think he'd be a lock. And I thought, well, Shorty, he's going to be dual position in 5 or 6 weeks anyway. So just ride it out, run it a bit thin. Hopefully you get a bit of luck in the back line. And then eventually just swap him for, Chesser or whoever it might be. Hopefully Baker's scoring all right and he can maybe come onto the field. Or I'm sure one rookie will sort of show themselves and be an okay M8 for me. I was a little bit disappointed Will Phillips didn't get selected. There's still potential for me to maybe downgrade Goda to McKenna and upgrade, someone on that midfield bench to Jack Bytel, who I think could play a role, but have to wait on the extended bench. Wanganeen-Malira, I think he's going to play a fantastic role, really offensive out of the half-back line. I think averaging 90 is extremely possible. And once he gets that dual position, just throw him back. He can be my D3, D4, depending where we're at by that stage. How happy are we? Fantastic, great stuff. And then I do feel like Sinclair could even play a little bit more midfield time, just with where the Saints injury list is at. So I really feel like you're going to get a lot of kick-ins from Wanganeen-Malira. You're going to get a lot of dash, a lot of 1-2s. I mean, gee, this could come back to burn me, but I'm backing him in. He's been my man for a while. I've mentioned him in a couple of TikToks and a few things like that. I'm backing him in. I'm backing that 1% ownership in. I'm riding that train all the way through the season. See how we go. And then I think it's pretty self-explanatory with Ashcroft, McKenzie. Like I said, Phillips, that was a bit of a surprise. But Baker, Long, I'm not overly enthused about either. So we'll see. But I'll still play around with these rookies. I pretty much chucked the team around a little bit. Did the video with Langers, watched the footy. And now I just want to get this one out and try and get to bed by about 11:30 if I can. And finish that week off and then head to the MCG. 90,000 at the G, I reckon. Fuck, it's going to be great. That's what it's all about, mate. That's what you live for. Can't wait for it. Ruck department has mainly stayed the same for the whole preseason. English Marshall, backing them right in. Can't wait. Really think they'll be the number 1 and 2 rucks. And here's your forward line. So I've batted pretty deep because I feel like I don't want to expose a Green or a Davey or a Long on the field. Even a Radigalea. I know he's popular, but I would have loved that forward ruck dual position sort of swing. But at the end of the day, it just came down to maybe preferencing a bit more down back, like getting a Jones in there. And yeah, it's just the way it panned out. You can't have them all, I guess. Dunkley lock, Rosie lock, Taranto lock. I feel like those three be the most popular F1, 2 and 3 going around. Cunnington, look, maybe a bit of a surprise for some. But I watched his game in the practice match and high centre bounce, just loves a contested ball. That's not going to change. They need him in there. Yeah, he'll probably rest forward at times. But again, I'm not absolutely wedded to him. I could still chop it around. But at this stage, I'm pretty happy with him. He's been in my team for quite a few weeks now. I just think he's a really good chance to average, 93, 94. Hey, if he really gets rolling, he could average high 90s. I feel like he won't be a worry for me. He's such an honest player. He'll just do his thing. And Bruin, still touch and go with him. Is it him? Is it Horn Francis? I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research. And I love the fact that he will play inside mid. It worries me that if he does just have a quiet week or two, and then they give Parfit a go in there, and he comes in the team, or Bruin goes to a half-forward flank. I'm just worried about Geelong's depth. I think Horn Francis has much more guarantee on inside mid time, but he's slightly more expensive. Not much. I don't know. As you can see, I thought I was a little more confident with it than I maybe thought. Then I got talking. I love him as a player. It's always great to have a cat in there. For now, that's where it stands. When your team gets this cemented, it's hard to find 20 or 30k. Like it's so crazy, isn't it? You get so emotionally invested to some of these guys. We couldn't find a 102 rookie anywhere, could we? Real struggle. I know there's that Saints bloke, but I don't know, job security anyway. Sheasel, I think he's a gun. Yeah, he might have times where it's difficult at half forward, but there'll be a time in the first month of footy where they throw him back. And look out, mate. Look out. When he's off the half-back line, he's going to score some serious 90s, maybe 110. I think he can seriously play. And then round it out with Green and Davey, which is real popular. So that's the team, ladies and gentlemen. That is the team. So good luck out there. Good luck. I hope your team starts off, not just your SuperCoach team, but I hope you get a win in your leagues and out there in AFL world. Countdown's on. I was excited today, and the countdown to tomorrow night is so keen. I'm going to just smash out some work, drive straight home, and almost leave immediately. And the hype. There's nothing I love more than going to the MCG in front of a big crowd. It's going to be sick. So, but yeah, thanks for everything throughout the preseason. It was another pretty solid one. And then, we're just going to get back in those swing of things. Press conference Sunday night. Hopefully we're happy. And then get into our live sessions and previews throughout the week. So, looking forward to that. But if you've got any questions, feel free to ask me. I won't get a chance tomorrow. But I'll definitely try to on Saturday morning. We'll see how we go. But hopefully I got to most of your questions throughout the live session the other night. But, good stuff, guys. Thanks again. I'm sure we'll talk soon. Cheers.